So folks, let's see, today I want to talk about installing AI on your machine, but this will be a local copy and it won't be out on the internet. So I'm going to start out with, let's see, we're going to set an environment variable. Go into System, go into About. I'm running this, I'm installing this on a 12th gen i9 processor, and I'm running installed RAM 728 gigabytes of memory. So let's set up an environment variable, and I think what I want to do for this environment variables, I'll need to set up a system variable, and that way it'll be used for all the users. Code called Ollama models, spelled just like that. Alright, so now let's see where I'm going to store this thing. Alright, let's just put it on this one. Copy the name. Let's say new. I don't think you really have to do this, but I'm going to move this later to another drive. I'm not going to do it today though. Alright, so go back to here and let's tell it, put that here, see Ollama models. Alright, so that'll be a system variable. Alright, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's download Visual Studio Code. Let's set it up. Let's add this. These two options. Add open with code. I don't want to put it on my desktop. I want to make it. I want to pin it to my start menu though. After the fact. Alright, let's go ahead and finish. Let's launch Visual Studio Code. Let's go to color themes. I'm going to go with a dark. I don't think I want to sync across devices. Alright, So, we're going to go to terminal. Something I want to add. What is it? Select help. View, command palette, appearance, editor, appearance, source control, extensions, problems. There should be. Editors, alright. Source control, extensions. That's what I'm looking for. Instead of extensions. Let's say PowerShell. Alright, so I think I'm going to do this. Let's go, let's see. Let's see what got installed with this machine. Pin to start. Go back. Come on. Let's run as administrator. All right. It didn't tell me what it had. All right, so for the first thing I want to do, I want a new file. And I want to set execution property. And I'm going to save this as all file types. The .ps1. What happened? Set execution property. Didn't stick, did it? All right. And I'm going to set this thing to set it to remote sign. And let's save this file. Now I have PowerShell here. No. there's... Alright. Now I can say set and hit tab, and it should see it. It should run it. Well, maybe I just should need to run it right here. Let's copy this, paste it in there. All right. You want to change A. Okay, now that's set. I guess I had to set that policy before I could even run scripts. I forgot you had to do that. I don't do that very often, so. Alright, so let's echo percent underscore models. That's not showing it there. Well, let's close it. New terminal. Echo. Score models. Didn't pick it up. I bet I'll have to reboot it. But I'm not going to reboot it right now. I'll just let it default and we'll pick it up the next time I get into this. Alright. So I've got Visual Studio Code set up. I could run scripts. Let's go and run. We've installed Visual Studio Code on the download Ollama. Excuse me, the allergies are getting to me. Alright, go back here. If I close this and go back into it. I'm not sure that I have to install PowerShell 7. I think a PowerShell is already installed. Let's not deal with that right now. Alright, that's what I had to do. Alright. So can I say echo? Still hadn't picked that up. That probably has to be a reboot to show that up. Alright. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Like I said, it'll start using the new location. I think I'm going to put an external drive, a USB, maybe a Seagate drive or something, gaming drive on there just for stuff like that. All right, so we have Ollama set up. Let's go and do a new text file. I'm going to take and go to the library. I'm going to install Uncensored. Uncensored allows you to ask all kinds of questions that the regular model won't let. If you're using ChatGPT, for example, you can't ask ChatGPT how to rob a bank or anything like that. But if you use an Uncensored, then you can do that. So I'm going to go with the biggest that I can get here. Copy this out. Now, and I'm going to save this as Llama 2 Uncensored 70B file. Save as. -70B. So 70B stands for 70 billion records. Now that's what I was looking for. Now that that's working, I'm going to save this as a PowerShell PS1 file. Okay. Alright, so let's save this. Now, tab, let's run it and see what happens. So it's going to pull the manifest up. It's going to download this thing. Up to 2%. This is going to take a few minutes, so I'm going to let that run, then I'll come back and continue the video. Okay, now, if you've been following me along, you should have something like this. So, let's ask it a question. Tell me, let's see. Tell me the correct way I can make moonshine. And it be safe to drink. Now, if this was the censored version, it would probably tell I can't. You shouldn't be making moonshine because it's illegal and yada 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 unless you're licensed and get approval and all this stuff, instead of telling you how to do it. So this thing's probably going to sit here and it's going to tell me some steps. Might not be precise. Depends on what databases have been scanned for this language model. That's going to determine the answer. So if you're going to play around with AI, there's a lot of language models out there, and the different language models are targeted for different topics. There's some that's math specific, there's some that's science, there's some electronics, just different language models out there that focus on certain things. It's running slow because it's running through 70 billion records. I used the large language model. In fact, while that's running, go out here, and if you wanted to use 7B, instead of 70 billion, it's 7 billion, so it'll be a tenth. All right. This is still going to tell me it's illegal to distill alcohol without a proper license, and making moonshine can be dangerous if not done properly. However, here are some general steps that you should follow. So it's going to go ahead and tell me, but the censored version would not go ahead and tell me. So that's why I went ahead and downloaded the uncensored version, because it filters out what you can ask. Now, should you do that? I don't know. It just depends on what you're wanting to do. If you so if you're just trying to create content, or maybe you're just doing some research on something for school, you're probably good with the censored version. Now, to make this thing run a little faster, and again, it's because I'm running the 70 billion record Ollama. So, let's set priority. Let's give it high priority. Do the same with this, because it's on normal priority. Set high priority. Set this, same thing, high priority. Let's see if that'll help it any. Let's look at the performance right now. So right now, CPU, this is a 24, this has 24 cores, and right now I'm pegging out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cores right now. Now it's coming out, now it's getting to the answer, and it's going to drop down on how much processing power it's using, because it's going through a lot of records right now. It's processing a lot of stuff. So that seems to have helped it by increasing the priority on the processes behind the scenes. So the larger the language model you're using, the slower it's going to run on your box. I mean, you really need to have one beast of a box. I mean, I could have, I'm running 128 gigabytes of memory. It probably would process a little faster if I had 256 gig on this box. Which this box will definitely hold 256 gig, but I stopped at 128 gig. And I'm not using like the highest speed, the fastest memory I could have put in here either. I've got like maybe a medium grade memory in this machine. Just to cut my costs a little bit. But it did tell me it's illegal to distill alcohol. The censored version would probably stop at that and would not go on and give me any instructions on how to make moonshine. Now, granted, these instructions are probably not complete, because there's probably some hands-on stuff that a person really needs to know to do this stuff, to make moonshine. And I'm not suggesting anybody to do that. I'm just doing this as an example of an uncensored, what you can do. Do I make moonshine myself? No, I don't. It looks like it's processing a lot faster now that I've upped the priority of the process. So if you were doing like a paper or writing a paper on how to do moonshine or distill alcohol, this would probably get you a base to start off of. All right, so that got finished. So why don't we let's exit out of that. Now I want to run the 7 billion record Ollama instead of running it from a PowerShell script. I'm just going to run it from the command line, and this should load fairly quickly. That's already done 10%. we're at 50%. So the smaller the language model that you use, the faster it's going to process. Because it's not going through as much data. So it's going to pull this down. 7 billion records. So now I have 2 language models on my box. Verifying the database. Okay. Let's see how fast this will process this. See how much faster it processes with the smaller bottle? The answer is going to be slightly different too. Actually, it's a lot different, isn't it? A lot less detail. So you can get more detailed information off of a larger language model than what you can off a smaller one, but you can still get answers off the smaller ones. All right, so that's my demo on installing your own local. This is all your questions is asked. They are within your local machine. It's not out on the web. It's not stored out on the web. It's stored here on your machine. And as you run these commands, it will check out see if there's any updates that have been released since your last download of the language model. So if anything has been changed or updated in the language models since the last time you run it, it will re-download. It will download the latest changes to your machine so it's the most current. You got to how come it didn't exit? Is it the wrong slash? Maybe the wrong slash. It answered with goodbye. It's the wrong slash. I used the wrong slash, a / bye. My bad. Now it's out of it. Alright. That's my demo. I hope you enjoyed it. Have fun. If you want to download, I invite people to download this stuff because this stuff is just free. Ollama is free to download and use. It's open source. AI, you can have your own AI engine. And you know, Windows is Microsoft is doing their own AI. Google has its own AI. I mean, that's just the future. But if you want to play around with asking questions and how you can go about getting different answers, I'll do one more thing. Let's do this before I end this. So I'm going to just use the small language model. And I'm going to say create a simple C# hello world example. This is something that we use at where I work, and we have our own private AI that's on campus. So here we go. There you go. You wanted a simple hello world example, it just wrote a program for me. Hello world. You can get a little more complicated. If you learn how to ask it questions, it can write more complicated answers. You can throw a section of program code you're having issues with and have it look at it, and it may or may not give you a solution to fix a problem if you have the problem with your code, but it might point you in the right direction. So this is one of the reasons we have our own private AI at the university. But anyway, this will conclude my example of installing Ollama and large language models. And I think my next video I may do a Docker, and I may show you how you can install your own web interface to have your own website on your own box, where you can ask questions and it will save your questions that you have asked, so you can go back and look at the questions and the answers after the fact. But we'll do that in another video. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your support, and I hope you have a good weekend. Thank you. Bye.